Hello, I just want to bring something out that in the midst of all of this chaos in this world, that God is still in control of this world. Yes, Satan, of course, wants to claim to be in charge of this earth. And of course, that's why we have so much death, wars, destruction. But God is in control of the universe, rightfully so. And so, in the midst of all that is happening, we have the hope in the coming of the Lord. And yes, we will face trials and troubles in this world. And, when Matthew 24 states that in the time of the end, there will be wars and rumors of wars. When we see these things happening, it's just the beginning of sorrows. Of course, wars, there have always been wars, right? World War I, World War II, whatever used to go on. So this is like the beginning of sorrows we have been experiencing. But there will be a time of trouble such that no man has ever seen before. I cannot remember the text. So what we have never seen, we will see. But in the midst of it, we have this hope that burns within our heart that God will vindicate our case and save us. Whatever we can do to prepare ourselves, not just physically, not just preparing our cupboards with food and extra whatever, but prepare our souls spiritually. Ask God, because of course we cannot do it on our own. We have to be ready. You see, there's a lot of discussions about oil and who wants oil. But there's a story in the Bible that speaks about the 10 virgins. 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. What? The 5 foolish ones didn't have any oil in their lamps. So while the worldly powers are seeking oil for riches, we are to seek the oil from the Lord that will fill our lamps and keep them burning so that we can be ready to meet the bridegroom when he comes. May the Lord help us that we should not be fearful for what is coming upon the earth, but we have to be vigilant. We have to open our eyes. We have to be aware so that things doesn't come upon us. God's coming doesn't come upon us like a thief in the night. And it will come upon some as a thief in the night because some persons distance themselves from what's going on. Of course, sometimes it brings a sense of anxiety when you watch some of the things that are going on in the world. But we have to ask God to give us the strength to overcome this anxiety, this fear that we have when we see these things happening. Because really and truly, when we see these things happening, we are to look up because our redemption draweth nigh. And unless these things come upon us, come upon this earth, God will never come. This gospel shall be preached to all the world as a witness, and then the end will come. We have internet, right? Before COVID, we never see this thing happening. But since COVID, the internet has blown up. Every corner of the earth is experiencing the gospel in some way or another. But we are to be also mindful that be on the lookout for things that will come across as lamb-like. Remember, Revelation spoke about the lamb-like beast, which means there will be a major deception. Jesus himself told the disciples that there will be a deception, that if we're not careful, we can be drawn away with the lamb-like beast things. So anything that comes upon this earth going forward as a solution to the crisis that we're facing, because they will create crisis and the solution will be a religious one, right? There's things in the making. If your eyes are open, if it's not, ensure that you are connected to God know what's in his word, and anything that comes that will go up against his commandments. Remember, Revelation says at the end of it, here are the patience of the saints, they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. So, in whatever form, you don't have to believe what I believe in my faith, but once you're a believer in God, anything that goes against God's law, God's word, even by a little 1%, beware of the deception. We're in an age when we're not even sure of what's real when we look at things, right? But unless we know what the truth thing is, we won't be able to recognize counterfeit. And I have lots more to say. May the Lord grant us his blessings as we go through this time that we're living in, knowing that we have this hope in the coming of the Lord, that in the midst of all this trial and this chaos, he will protect those who stand in his way. Thank you.